Our microwave recently broke, and the problem is the turntable turns on its own when you open a door, and also it's not heating. Make sure you unplug the appliance before working on it. I used to work for Sears repairing kitchen appliances, and this problem is always one of the interlock switches being broken. The transformer sound effect always reminds me of Starscream saying, "Magnetron, wait for me!" Anyways, the cover has to come off, so remove all these screws. The screws are almost always security torque screws with the security pin in the middle. So you'll need security torque bits with the hollowed out center. Also, check to see if there's more screws on the sides. To take the cover off, pull the sides outwards. Now pull up on the top edge slightly. While pulling up on the top edge slightly, pull toward you. The text sheet on this microwave is found on the outer cavity, but other times you can find it on the cover that was just pulled off. On the oldest microwaves, only the schematics were glued onto the outer cover. But these text sheets have detailed information on how to troubleshoot different components of the microwave. This door latch goes through a hole on the cavity which engages the interlock switch, which is just a micro switch. You can see here how the door latch engages the interlock switch when the door is closed. You can see how the door latch slams on the button on the switch. Like I mentioned earlier, there are 3 interlock switches. 2 of these interlock switches are engaged by the door latch, while the bottom switch is engaged by the door open button strike. To make it easier to get to the switches, remove this light cover. With the screw removed, now we can remove the cover. I guess not. The cover is hooked on to the interlock assembly with this tab. These 2 screws hold on the interlock switch assembly. With those screws removed, now we can remove the interlock switch assembly along with the light cover. I guess not. The door strike is in the way, so we have to remove the control panel. To do that, we have to remove these 2 screws. Push up from the bottom of the control panel to unlatch it. We can now remove the light cover, though in hindsight it would have been easier to remove the light cover with it attached to the interlock switch assembly and working on it outside the confined space of the microwave. Anyways, now just remove the wiring from the switches and the light. For future reference, take pictures of the wiring. Use your digital multimeter's continuity tester to test the switches. Reading the diagram, the top switch is a normally open micro switch. You can see the common terminal and the normally open terminal. Pressing the button on the switch closes the circuit. Here's a clearer picture of a two-position micro switch. With the button not pressed, the circuit is closed from the common terminal to the normally closed upper terminal. Conversely, pressing the button closes the circuit from the common terminal to the normally open terminal, and vice versa. The first normally open switch tests good. The middle normally closed switch tests good. Looks like we found our culprit. The bottom normally open switch tests bad. The normally open terminal started arcing internally and produced a lot of heat, which started melting the housing. That heat also started to melt the sleeve on the connectors. You can see how one of them is darkened. The heat also compromises the connector itself, so change out the connector also. Search for the parts using the model number, which can be found on the inner frame behind the door or on the outer rear frame. Copy and paste the model number and use your Google Fool skills. Here's the part we want, which is labeled 4002. Notice the top switch is the same part number, as they're both normally open switches. Also notice that with part 4001, all three switches along with the plastic housing is available as one assembly. Hey, $23.99 ain't bad for the whole assembly. And $7.39 ain't bad for a single switch. You can choose to order it online, or you can check with your local appliance store like I did. I just got the switch. With the microwave plugged in, we can see if this thing is working. Oh, and by the way, microwaves are pretty dangerous. This is the high voltage area. Check out the size of the transformer. It's bigger than my fist. Just don't get close to this area when the microwave is on, and you'll be okay. Alright, the turntable is no longer turning on when the door is open. Now to test if this thing is heating. Damn, where's that add 1 minute button? I think this is good. There's a signature hum the microwave makes when it's working properly. And here's some random information. This is the capacitor, magnetron, and transformer, which makes up the high voltage area. Or rather, they make up the main components of the high voltage circuit. By the way, the main cause of that interlock switch failing is because people slam the door. Always guide the door back to close it. Comment, like, and subscribe, peoples. And please donate if you can. I now have super thanks. That would be greatly appreciated. And the water's piping hot. Now to give it the ultimate test, some Marie calendars.